Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how to look for a deal or how to find a car like a Buick. Now, recently I saw this GTP, for example. You can choose between a 4-door GTP. I prefer a 2-door GTP. This one looks pretty clean from the inside and out. Now, one thing you are going to expect, or you should expect, is cars will have over 2,000 miles because they're 1999, 2000. So that's roughly what you should expect from a car. If you see lower than this, then obviously that's pretty good mileage. For example, my Buick has 113,000 miles or something like that. So it's actually very, very good. And you can find some deals. Obviously, I'm in California, San Diego, so you can see like this one. This one's been up for months, for like a year now. So obviously, hasn't been sold or it just hasn't been taken down, but it has 150,000 miles. If you want to start with a project, you can start with something cheap like that, or if you want something more pricey like this, is $3,000. However, it has 89,000 miles. So this car is definitely low mileage. So you should expect to get a pretty good, decent car. Shifts great, and then anything. So, anyways, that's the way. One of the things that I will look into when buying this type of car, we're in California, so I don't have to worry about this as much. But if you're watching in the East Coast, you have to lift up the car. Like, I cannot stress that enough. Make sure that there's no rust underneath the car because that's an issue that you will find over there. Also, if the title is a clean title or it's a salvage title. If it's a salvage title, you want to ask, why is it salvage? Is it salvage because it was stolen? Is it salvage because it was in a crash, car accident? You have to find out. If it was in a car accident, is the frame bent? If the frame is bent, you don't want to get that car. You're gonna have too many issues. This is one that I've been looking at for months now. I've been debating on getting it, and I was thinking of just getting this one and then building this one and then just keeping my Buick stock. So I'm still debating it. It's still up here. So I'm actually in, and it just depends on what location you're in. For example, if you search LA and you type in GTP, you will find a little bit more cars as well. So look at this one. Maybe you got $6,500 to spend. That's one. It has a supercharger as well. It already has the colder intake from CCP. So it definitely has. They have done some mods to it, but to be honest, I wouldn't pay no $6,500 for a GTP. I'm sorry, but I'm not. But that's one way that you can find some deals on GTPs. And then just look around your areas if you're willing to drive an hour and a half. This GTP looks decent, clean, and it has how many miles it has. They don't tell you, so you have to call or message them, and they'll give you, whatever, like that. But that's for GTP or Buick Regal GS. Then you'll find some Buick Regal GS. The good thing is about this cars is that most of the time they're underrated, so a lot of people don't like them, so they don't care. So they don't have that much attention, which for you, if you're a new buyer, is good. This one it's a 2001, 166,000, so that's okay. And I don't know if this is actually, it looks like a GS, but I'm not sure. Because the GS and the LS, they look the same. It doesn't have a sunroof, so I would say it's an LS. But I could be wrong. But that one's for $1,800. You can easily get it for $1,500 or even less, more, even cheaper. And one thing that I liked that I'm gonna show you is if this has been posted for 9 months, most likely they still have this car. So use that as your advantage. Like, hey, I noticed that you have this car for so long posted. Would you like to sell it for this much cash right now? A lot of the times you will be able to get it. The internet made it so much easier to just make bids. You can wait to be in person and do the bids, or you can just make the bid right here and there. You see this one? It's $900. It's a GS. It has a supercharger. So 160 has the rod knocks. So obviously the engine is bad on this one. So you do not want to buy this one unless you want to rebuild the whole entire engine. And if you're going to do that, make sure you have enough money to, if you're going to rebuild it, add performance parts. So now you have a very strong engine, more than what it already comes with from factory. This one, 90,000 miles. This is a deal. Really nice. Great condition. These struts, that's easy. However, it was posted 2 years ago. So this car might not even be here anymore. You just have to mention. You do notice right here, there's a handicap. So sometimes they don't drive as much. You can see the steering wheel. So when you go look at the car, you start looking at every single detail. So, okay, I'm gonna need to buy a new steering wheel or just a steering wheel cover. It's up to you what you prefer. The seat is ripped here. So these little things, when you go see the car, if the car is already a good price, you can lower it, but don't be a low baller. But if you see details like those, like, hey, I noticed that the front passenger is ripped, mention that. Hey, I noticed this is mention that. Why? Because if he's asking 1,700, you can try to say, you know what? I'm gonna give you 1,500 cash right now. So that way, those extra 200 that you were gonna spend, you're gonna be using that to fix the steering wheel and get a new seat, or just get it sewed right there in the middle. Does that make sense? So those are some things that the way I see when I'm looking for a car. I look at the price. Like this one is $4,000, so obviously looks clean. These typically are the GS wheels. They're non-chrome. They're just like that. So most likely this is not a GS. So the other one that I said that might be this one. It might be a Buick GS. I'm sorry, because it has the chrome wheels. But that's one good way to find out how to buy a car. And I will show you as well on my car things that I look at in order for you to look at as well.